One of the problems that we have as developers for the web, and we'll get more into this in the responsive videos, is that different browsers render the content differently. Looking at a site in Chrome on a Mac may be even different from looking at a site on Chrome on a Windows PC. Or maybe looking at a site on Firefox is different than looking at it on Opera. With the different versions of different browsers on different machines, it's very difficult to tell how a browser is actually going to render the content when we put it on the page. So fortunately, we have access to a couple different types of CSS solutions for this problem. The first are reset files. Reset files will essentially take all of the default browser styles in all browsers and set them down to the basic style. This will make all of your headers 12 pixels or all of your colors black. Everything will be set back down to 0. We'll be making use of Normalize CSS. This attempts to maintain a similar style for all elements without resetting them. We'll be using a CDN, or Content Delivery Network, to retrieve our normalized CSS file. For Normalize, we'll be using cdnjs.com. A CDN is basically a site that is built for serving content to multiple users. They'll have different servers in different locations to help make the transfers faster. We also benefit from built-in browser caching if another site has used the same file and then they navigate to our site. That file will be cached. So let's pull down Normalize by searching for Normalize and copying this URL. In my HTML page at the top, I'll add a link and target our copied URL. Here I'll paste in the URL, and then I'll end my link tag. It's important to note that the reason that they don't pass HTTP or HTTPS is that the browser will default to figuring out which protocol your site is using. In this case, because we're on the file protocol, which we can see by looking at the URL in our page, this URL will attempt to read file://cdnjs.cloudflare.com, which is not what we want. So when we pull in a URL from a CDN, we want to make sure that if we're on the local file system, we specify HTTP. So here I'll add http:// to the beginning of that URL. Now by default, our page looks like this. We have some extra margins. Everything is in a sans serif font. Our links are set up a certain way. This is just an H1 with a couple paragraph tags and a link tag. Refreshing this page with the new normalized CSS file changes the style slightly. We're now using a sans serif font. We can see that the margin has been normalized. And this basically means that everything in this page should look very, very similar in other browsers at different versions. If you're interested in what styles are actually being applied here, you can take a look at the CSS file that's been loaded. I'll open up my dev tools, open up the head element, right-click on that URL, and open the link in a new tab. And here we can see a bunch of rules that have been applied. This covers a lot of things like tables and inputs. Overall, it's a good idea to include this file with your projects so that you can at least take a first crack at making sure that your page looks good on all browsers.